guys, it's a gamer here, and if you're kind of wondering why I'm lighting a candle, well, let's just say the power went out and no one can really explain why. Like, our power is going out, and I try using my light or any kind of light source that I have, and honestly the best thing I can use is just fire, a thing of nature, and candles. And yet surprisingly my camera actually works. I guess I might as well get another Sonic Boom vlog out of the way while the power is out. So this is Sonic Boom Vlogs, episode 18, Dr. Eggman's tomato sauce, or tomato sauce, I don't know how Dr. Eggman calls it. So the episode starts off where Sonic and the gang are trying to stop Tails from pouring in the heck out of his plane.
It's like he loves it. Do you love your plane, Tails? Do you love it?
I do.
Oh, that took the wind right out of my sails.
But when they do succeed to get Tails to stop working on the plane, of course he goes to get some other parts, and then they discover that Dr. Eggman is selling tomato sauce with free samples. So as everybody is trying free samples, Sonic runs up and knocks all the tomato sauce out of everybody's hands, and the rest of the gang are accusing Dr. Eggman for poisoning the tomato sauce. But Dr. Eggman proves that it's not poison by trying a little bit of himself, and after calling Sonic a coward, Sonic just grabs the can, has it, and...
Oh no, my worst fears have come true.
What's wrong?
It's delicious! It's like my taste buds are swimming in a sea of mouth-watering, tomatoey goodness.
Ooh, zesty.
Well, it might be good if you have some spaghetti with it, you never know. So yeah, it turns out that the tomato sauce is not poisoned after Tails does a few tests on it, and absolutely is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing that's poisoning them. They don't feel awkward hours later, so maybe Dr. Eggman has turned a whole new leaf. But this starts to annoy the heck out of Sonic when a kid who runs up to him saying,
"You're my hero! Can I get an autograph?"
Sure, kid, anything for...
Sure, kid. Anything for a fan.
ends up running towards Dr. Eggman to get his autograph, and then he calls Tails on his watch.
Hey, Tails, get this. Oh, come on, seriously? Nothing's going right today.
Okay, I gotta admit, that scene actually made me laugh. I mean, we will get explained why his watch malfunctioned like that, but let's just say the first time I watched that made me laugh, because it just felt natural. But it actually turns out that Knuckles, Amy, Sticks, and even Tails have their technology malfunctioning. So yeah, maybe something is wrong. So Sonic and his friends go to Manburger, which is kind of a weird name, but meh. So as they go to Manburger, suddenly the can... Okay, now we know what the problem is. So while they're at Manburger, Dr. Eggman is having a reality talk show with Comedy Chimp, who is voiced by Bill Fredberger, who is actually one of the co-executive producers of the show. And so the two talk back and forth, and we only see one clip with Orbot and Cubot in the background behind the cameras, as Dr. Eggman talks more about his tomato sauce and how Sonic and his friends accused him for poisoning the food, to which Comedy Chimp calls it bananas. But Dr. Eggman eventually reveals that the cans are actually hacking their technology. So suddenly you got vacuums, lamps, toasters, and cash registers that are attacking people. Which is kind of weird, because you got this lamp that attacks this one person and has a great chance to kill him, and yet 6 minutes near the end of the episode, it turns out that lamp never gave a chance despite, I don't know, given the first opportunity to do so and not doing it an hour later for some reason.
Watch it! A bruise like a delicate peach.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Dave the intern?
A bruise like a delicate peach. A bruise like a delicate peach. A bruise like a delicate peach.
Okay, was that even translated from French to English? So Sonic and his friends fight against the technology and all that, and it turns out that Tails' Biplane is hacked as well. So Tails tries to save his plane while Sonic and the others go after Dr. Eggman to save Comedy Chimp, as well as everybody else who is being attacked by the technology. But no matter how much they try to destroy the main robot, even when Styx decapitates the head off, it turns out that it can repair itself, so it can never really be defeated. So yeah, as a whole, this episode is... wow. This episode is actually a really damn good episode in my opinion. In fact, I actually like this better than the last episode, Don't Judge Me. Yeah, I know, this is actually kind of a leap, but believe it or not, I actually do like this episode better than the last one. And the reason why is because I think it's so perfectly paced and really damn well written. Now, when I was watching this episode at first, I was thinking of giving it a simple above average rating, and that was because the comedy in it actually felt different to me. Like, usually a lot of the comedy in the previous episodes are definitely ones that you can definitely tell are written or a little forced in, whether they're funny or not. But the comedy in this one just feels natural. Like when Sonic's watch malfunctions, it just felt natural and in the moment, and just Sonic going, oh come on, seriously? It just feels natural. Or even in this one scene when the technology comes alive.
They all laughed when I said our appliances would turn against us. But who's laughing now?
You?
Why would I be laughing? This isn't funny. You got a sick sense of humor.
Like, the comedy in this episode is actually so natural that it actually seems very well written. And the interesting thing is that usually a lot of the episodes in Sonic Boom usually have their action scenes take place in the last 3 minutes or so of the episode. But in this episode, it's actually half the build-up and the other half is the action scenes. And I think that is actually a really clever idea, because it actually makes it really interesting. Because sometimes there's the odd episode, say like Aim Low, where usually when you have too much of a build-up but not really much of an action scene, the episode usually becomes a little dull, even if it is a good episode. But yeah, it seems half and half in this episode, and it seems really well balanced out. The first 6 minutes is literally Dr. Eggman selling his tomato sauce, and everybody thinks, hey, maybe Dr. Eggman has turned a new leaf. But the second half of the episode is all action scenes and all that, and it doesn't take place all in one area. It takes place in like 3 different locations, and it's all well paced together. So yeah, this episode is actually a really well thought out idea. I mean, almost like episode 8, Eggheads, where Dr. Eggman uses the evil cookies to make Sonic's friends evil, or that wasn't his main intention, but that's what happened in the episode. It seems like a bizarre idea. Whereas the tomato sauce, it seems like a bizarre idea, but at the same time, it plays off a little more naturally in comparison to just evil cookies. Like, it's not that stereotypical and all that, and Dr. Eggman finds a clever way to market his product out to people so that way they can be consumed in the product and eventually be defeated by it. And yeah, whether the technology is lethal or not is kind of debatable, as that lamp holds that person there for no reason, and all the cash register is doing is shooting change at Dave the Intern. But yeah, it's actually a pretty damn good episode, and there is a lot of great touches here and there. And I gotta say, another interesting thing about this episode is the inner beams. Like, you probably remember from Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, the awful game, where you do use a lot of the inner beams. Well, the inner beam does return in this episode, and the last and only time we've ever seen the inner beam used in the Sonic Boom TV show was in the first episode, Sidekick, which was when Sonic and Tails were fighting up against Burnbot in the very first scene. So when Tails lets out his inner beam, Sonic grabs onto it and kicks Burnbot up against the rock. But in this episode, Tails actually uses it to get the remote from Eggman that is controlling the main robot. So yeah, it's actually pretty neat seeing the inner beam back, and hopefully we do see more of the inner beam, because this is the 18th episode in, and only twice has the inner beam ever been used in the TV show, and both by Tails. So hopefully we do see the inner beam more, because it'll be nice to actually see what more use they can actually make of it, considering that in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric it was kind of for the most part. I mean, it wasn't a bad feature, it's just a lot of the gameplay elements with using it just got repetitive, especially during combat sections. So yeah, as a whole, this episode, I was having a hard time of actually thinking what place I should rate this episode. Because Translate This was number 3 with an 8 out of 10. The Meteor is number 2 with a 9 out of 10. And Dude, Where's My Eggman is my number 1 episode with a 9 out of 10. And this episode is, I won't say perfect. It's not a perfect episode. I still have yet to find an episode that is a 10 out of 10. So yeah, my final verdict for this episode will be a 9 out of 10. And I think this officially tops Translate This. So yeah, this is my official 3rd best episode of the series. So number 4 is Translate This. Number 3 is Dr. Eggman's Tomato Sauce. Number 2 is The Meteor. And number 1 is still Dude, Where's My Eggman? So yeah, this is a pretty good episode, and hopefully the power is going to be back on, because so far I can only get my camera to work in. Oh, you goddamn Heinz company, I'm gonna f***ing kill you!
A bruise like a delicate peach.